Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly demo with Mural. My name is Emilia Åström and I'm the Design Success Manager at Mural, and I will be your host today for this demo. And together with me I also have Matt Sinise, who's going to help me show the collaboration features. Hi Matt, how are you doing today?
Hi Emilia, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you back from Christmas holidays. How did you spend your Christmas holidays?
I was back home in New Jersey with the family. How about you?
Cool, sounds great. I spent some time with my family here in Buenos Aires, so it was a nice time.
Awesome.
Great. So thank you everyone for joining us here today. I hope you had a happy new year as well. So in today's demo, we're going to show you some features and some use cases to help you get started with Mural. So throughout the webinar, I just wanted to point out that Matt will be chatting with you live, taking your questions. So if you take a look in the webinar software, you will see that there's a Q&A pane. So you can add your questions in the Q&A pane. And besides chatting with you throughout the webinar to answer your questions, we're also going to take some of them live. So we're going to demonstrate them in the Mural. And this session is also being recorded if you would like to go back and review anything afterwards. And you can also find recordings of other weekly demos on our YouTube channel. And there you can also find other webinars and nice things to get inspired by. So before I dig into the different capabilities of Mural, I just wanted to take a short moment and explain a little bit what Mural is. So you can think about Mural as a virtual whiteboard in your browser. So Mural is a cloud-based application. You don't have to download anything. Just enter the URL mural.co in your browser and get started. And many different teams around the world use Mural for remote collaboration, but also as an online collaboration space when you lack the physical space to collaborate visually. So we see a lot of teams use Mural to do design thinking activities, human-centered design activities, but also for project management or project planning, and we also see it being used for product design and so on. So there's many different ways you can use Mural. So I'm gonna jump up over here to the upper left corner of the Mural. So as you can see, when you create a new Mural, you get a blank space to start working from. So I'm going to start filling up this space with content. So if we take a look on the left side, you will see that you have a toolbar here where you can find different types of text tools, shapes and connectors, icons, frameworks, and images. So I'm going to start using these tools to fill up the Mural with content. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag out the sticky notes. So I think I'm actually before that, for today's demo, we're going to do a quick brainstorming session. So to help Matt and me stay focused on the topic, I'm actually going to add a title first with a question. So today we're going to brainstorm about how might we make remote teams feel closer. Okay, so I added this sticky note also from the left toolbar. So one idea could be we could do daily video check-ins. Okay, and as you can see, while I add a sticky note, and you can say that I want to click on a sticky note once, the sticky note is selected. And when an element is selected, you will have access to this formatting menu above. So you can see that you can decrease and increase the font size. You also have different text formatting options. You can take this font, for example. You can also add a border around the sticky note, and I can change its color. There's a lot of interesting things you do with the sticky notes. And a quick shortcut as well to add more sticky notes. If you just double click on the Mural, you will quickly have another sticky note. So another thing we could do, we could take an online course together. Great way to learn something new and also work online. Okay, so if I continue in the menu here, I will see that next thing I have are some shapes and connectors. So if I want to add a connector, for example, I can just drag and drop it to the mural here. So as you can see, when I put the arrow on top of the sticky note, it turns blue, and that means that the two sticky notes are connected. And here I can also add some different shapes. These shapes are great for doing different frames. If you want to, for example, we want to put a box around this exercise to limit the space we're using. I can send this. If I right click on this box as well, I can always send it to the back as well. Okay, now we can see that Matt has been collaborating on his own over here. So let's move over here and see what Matt is doing. That's a nice little airplane. What does that come from, Matt?
So I got that from the icons menu on the left there. So if you go to the star, the icons, you can search any icon you like.
Cool.
And then you can also choose any color.
Cool. I really like this one, this little cloud, or maybe the fire. Let's add the fire here. So you said I can change the color as well.
That's right. That's my favorite thing to do, I think.
Cool. I think I'm gonna make this one orange, like looks really hot. Nice. I think I'm gonna move your ideas into the space that I created here. So a good quick tip to know as well. Now we have several sticky notes here, and if I would like to mark several elements at the same time, I can either hold down the Shift key and click on each of the elements one by one, or I can hold down the Shift key and drag. And then I can move all the elements together. So I'm gonna move Matt's ideas here into the same space where I have mine. Okay, next thing we have on the menu here are the different frameworks and areas. So these are kind of pre-designed activity sheets that you can use to do different design activities. We also have some frameworks for Agile. And under business, you can also find business model canvas, event model canvas, and lean canvas. So I think we need to brainstorm a little bit more first, and then I'm going to take some time and show you how to add a framework for doing the next step of this session. So you can also add images to your brainstorm. So this is a great way to making it a bit more visual. So I could, for example, can search for conference call here. Let's see what we can find. Well, this is a pretty old-fashioned way to do conference calls, though, using a telephone. Today we do more video calls using Skype and Zoom like we do today. But I will add this image here. So to add an image to your mural, you can just search for any word in the image search here, and then you can drag and drop it to the mural. So this is an integrated image search that's integrated with a Bing search engine. So all the images that you find here are images that you can find on the web. But you can not only add images from the left toolbar, you can also add images from your desktop, for example. So I have a folder here with some images that I usually like to add during brainstorm. So if I want to add this image, for example, I can just drag and drop it to the mural, and the image will be uploaded here. Okay, the image is a little bit too big. So as you can see, when you have marked an element, you can see that it gets this blue border. You just have to click on it once in order to select it. And then you can see that I have this little blue dot in the bottom right corner. So if I grab this blue dot, I can make the image smaller. You can also see that I have auto alignment in the mural. So it's very easy to change the size of the elements so that all of them are aligned. But I can not only add images to the mural, I can also add PDFs and other documents. So I have this PDF here that I would like to add. So I can just quickly drag and drop it into the mural. So I can do this with Word documents and PowerPoint presentations as well, for example. Try out for yourself which are different file formats you can add. So this will upload a copy of the document to the Murals. If you want to look at it later, you can just double-click on it to open it. Then you can also download it to your computer. So Mural can also be a great way for sharing documents with others. But besides adding documents, you can also add links to pages on the web and videos. So to do this, I can just mark the URL and then I use Ctrl+C to copy. And then I can use Ctrl+V to paste it in the Mural. So to paste an image, if you try to right-click to paste the link, you can find the option here. But as you can see, when you try to paste something by right-click, you will get this window that suggests that you instead use Command-V to paste. So you will get a quick preview of the shortcuts here. You can find more shortcuts. If you look here in the lower left of the Mural, you will find this question mark. So if you look here, you can find some more keyboard shortcuts. So then you can see that besides using Command-V to paste, you can also have Command-X to cut, Command-C to copy, Command-Z to undo. If you hold down the Shift, you can redo as well. So to be able to work more quickly in Mural, I recommend that you go in and check out these keyboard shortcuts. Super cool. So besides adding images to web pages, you can also add videos. So this is a video of the Mural Surface Hub application. So Mural is also available as an application for this huge Microsoft touchscreen. So this means that you can collaborate with others, moving around the sticky notes and adding them using your fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this video into the Mural. So whenever you add a video from YouTube into the Mural, you can always watch them inside the Mural as well. So if I'll double click on this video, you will see that I open up the video in here in Mural. I can also choose if I want to open it up in a new tab if I don't want to watch it inside the Mural. But this is a really good feature, so I really recommend you to add videos into your Murals to make it more live. And another way to quickly bring in more content into your Mural, if you check out, if you have a spreadsheet or a Word document with a list of ideas, for example, here I have some steps for how to plan a session with Mural that I would like to bring into this Mural. So I can actually copy text from a Word document or a spreadsheet or a Google Doc. Any text actually goes into the Mural. So you can see here that each line or each cell will become its separate sticky note. So let's go over to the Mural and see what that looks like. And again, I'm using Command-V to paste in the Mural. Cool. So now I can, you can see that the sticky notes were pasted into something that we call an area. So if I would like to get rid of this area, I can just simply delete the area only. Okay, so now I'm going to, I would like to use this to create a flow diagram. So the first thing I do is choose a topic, then I want to prepare the Mural activity, then I want to set up a video call, invite my participants, run the session, and follow up. Okay, I would like to add some arrows here as well. So a quick shortcut as well that is super useful, if you hold down the C key. So if you press down the letter C, you'll be able to draw arrows. Just as easy as this. You don't even have to open the menu to draw arrows. And even better, if you hold down the C key while holding down Shift, you will be able to draw straight lines. So you can see that right now, when I'm holding down the Shift key, the arrow will snap to any angle. Cool. And as you've probably been noticing, I've been zooming and moving around the Mural quite a lot. So I wanted to take a moment and explain how you zoom and move around the Mural. this depends on whether you're using a trackpad or a mouse or maybe a touchscreen even. So right now I'm using a mouse, and if I would like to zoom using the mouse, I can just scroll with the mouse wheel. Zooming using a trackpad or a touchscreen, then you would simply pinch with your fingers to move closer or further away. If I would like to move around the mural, when I use a mouse, the easiest way to do this is holding down the shift key while I grab different parts of the mural. So you can see that at any time I can basically like click anywhere on the mural to move around, but if I click on an element, I will automatically move it as well. So instead, if I hold down the space key, you will see that my pointer has turned into a hand. So all the time, so this means that I can grab anywhere in the mural to move. If I would have been using a trackpad or a touch screen to move around the mural, I would simply slide with my fingers from side to side to move around. The first time you launch Mural, you will get the option to set what navigation settings you will use, but you can always go in and change this later if you change your computer setup. So if I click on the lower left corner on my avatar, I can go into my account settings. Then I choose navigation. And now I can see that I can choose scroll means moving around or panning around the mural. So I can choose if I want to use my fingers or if I want to hold the space key and drag. And then for zoom, I also have all the options like pinch, I can slide with 2 fingers, or scroll using the scroll wheel. And finally, another way to navigate your mural is by using the minimap in the lower right side of the mural. So if you look in the lower right, you will see this map. So right now I can even see where I am in the mural. And if I click on another part of the mural, you will see that the marker moves over there, right where I clicked. So this is a quick way to go to different parts of the mural. I can even use the plus and minus sign here as well to zoom in and out. So that's something that I find super useful. But now I wanted to take a quick break and see if we had any questions. So Matt, do we have any questions that we should go through?
The only question so far is about saving content. So how do you save your content?
Thank you. Okay, great question. So actually, since Mural is a cloud-based application, all the content that you add to the Mural is saved automatically. So for example, if I double-click here to add a sticky note, you will see that for a quick moment, it showed up a text here that says saving. And then it says all changes saved. So that's how you know that your browser is working and saving all the content that you add to your mural. So everything is saved automatically. Saving content is nothing that you have to worry about. Do you think that answered the question, or would you like to add something, Matt?
Maybe you could also talk about maybe exporting or downloading a mural.
Okay, great option. So by saving a mural, you might also be talking about saving a copy of the mural offline. So in order to do that, if you look on here you can see the name of the mural that you're currently inside. And beside the name of the mural, you will see this little arrow. This little arrow is something that you will get to know in other parts of the application as well. So whenever you see this little arrow, you know that there is a drop-down menu hidden underneath. So if I click on this arrow, I will see that I get a couple of options. I will be able to share my mural, and I will also be able to export my mural. So if I click on this option, export mural, I will be able to choose if I want to export it as an image or as a PDF. So after choosing any of these 2 alternatives, I will receive a link by email. And by clicking on this link that I will receive in my email, I will be able to download the mural as one of these 2 options that I have chosen. There is also an option to download your mural files. So, for example, if you would like to have document with all the text you added to sticky notes or all the images that you added to the mural in a folder ready to put into a PowerPoint presentation or any other document, this is the best option to choose. So you can just click on download Mural files in order to be able to download it. Cool. Do we have any other questions?
Not right now, but if you guys have any questions that come up, be sure to put it down in the Q&A panel.
Great, thank you. So do you think we should go through some collaboration features now, Matt?
Sure, great. So I'll go ahead and show that. Let me take the screen from you.
Oh no, don't take my screen.
There we go. All right. So you see we've already created some content. I like where we're going so far, but we want to share this with other team members to see what they have to say, if they have input and ideas. So to do that, there's a few different options. The first one would be to share the mural. So first of all, right next to that button, you have your mural members, so you can see who's inside the mural. You see that Amelia and I are online, but we also have a few other members who are offline. If I were the owner, so you see Amelia is the owner of the mural, she'll be able to see an option down below that will show how she can manage the members. So she'll be showing that later on. But you can see who else is inside the mural here, as well as, of course, the avatars down below. So if I want to share this with other members of the team, I can click the share button. And there's a couple different options. So the edit link is probably the fastest way to share. So if I just want to send this link to someone on the team, I could just message it to them or email it to them, and they can join right through this link and start editing. I can also invite them via email. So let's say Amelia's already a member, but just for example, I could type her email here, and I can send the invitation. So she'll get a message to her inbox with the invite link to this mural, and she can click on that and join and start collaborating. So that's the first option, and that's if you want the people that you invite to be able to edit and contribute their own ideas. Another option is the view link. So if I share this link with someone, they'll be able to see the mural in real time, so they'll be able to see what we're doing, where we are in the mural like you're seeing now, but they won't be able to actually edit the content. So this is a good idea if you want to share it with someone who's not directly involved in the collaboration process, but you want to share your progress with them, maybe a member of another team who you want to keep in the loop, but won't be editing or contributing to the actual mural. So that's another great way to share that with people. So after we've invited people, we come back to the mural. A lot of times we find it useful. We usually use some sort of voice application with Mural, so you can talk through your session with your teams, with your teammates. And one great way to talk through an idea or what you contributed is to follow people. So if I go down to the bottom here, I can click on Amelia's avatar here. It says follow Amelia. So if I click on that, you'll see the box goes around the mural, so I know I'm following her, and she's controlling my screen. So right now I'm not touching anything, but you'll see I'm seeing exactly what she's seeing. So this is great if she wants to talk through an idea and comment on something, she knows that I'm seeing the same thing as her, so we're on the same page. Now to get out of that, you can just zoom in or out or move around, and you'll get out of follow mode, and you'll see the box disappears. So to go along with this, I can ask people to follow me. So if I click on my avatar and select follow me, that will send an invite to other team members, and they'll get a pop-up saying Matt has invited them to follow him. And you'll see, I see now that Amelia is following me. So I know that if I want to talk about this idea about an online course together or talk through what I added, that she's seeing exactly what I'm seeing, and we're all on the same page. So that's another great feature that if you're using a voice application, if you're all talking through different ideas, following is a great way to do that. Another way to add your opinions, let's say if you're not in the mural at the same time, or if you come back later, you can comment on different elements. So to do that, let's say you can just right click on any element, and you'll see this toolbar appears, different options. So you can add a comment here. So I can say idea, and you can tag people. So if I have the add button, I can tag Amelia, so she'll get a notification. How can we get started? So you save that. So I leave a comment here, and she'll get a notification, and she'll be able to comment as well. So you can tag different team members if you want them to take a look at specific ideas. And that's also very helpful if you weren't in the session and you come back later and want to comment on the progress that your team has made while you were gone. Another way to kind of keep up and talk to different team members is chat. So if you can chat by clicking this icon here in the top right corner, just next to the share button, and you can see we've already started chatting, and you can say anything there. So you can chat here as well if you need it. It's another great way to stay in communication with your team while you're collaborating. So I can see Amelia chatted there. So those are a couple ways if you want to stay in good communication with your team to do that. And another great way to see how the team feels about different ideas is to vote. So I want to find out, we have all these different ideas, but what's the most popular ideas? What are the ones that we think will be most effective? So we can have a voting session. And to do that, you can click on the square here in the top left corner, voting session. So anyone on the team can start a voting session. I'll click start voting session. And then you can choose how many votes each team member gets. In this case, I think 3 votes will be enough. So say 3 votes, and we'll start. So each team member now that's in the mural will get this pop-up showing the instructions for voting. So we'll start voting, and you'll see up in the top left corner how many votes you have left. So you can go through. I think I like the idea of happy hour. I added it, but I still think it's the best idea. Online course, I like that one. And I like volunteering. So you add your votes. So anyone can start the session and anyone can end it as well. So anyone in the mural can click up here and say end voting session. I'm going to give Amelia a little more time so she can cast her votes. So as long as it's not ended by anyone, the voting session will continue. And if let's say I change my mind about an idea, volunteering, I can hold shift and click on that element, and you'll see the vote disappeared. So that's a nice feature if you change your mind and you see something you like better. So let's end the session.
I'm done now as well.
Okay, great. So we're going to end the session. And you'll get this overlay. So everyone who is in the voting session will see these results. So it looks like happy hour won. All right, good choice. And we have a few other ideas that also got a vote. So these only the last voting session results are saved. So you might want to create, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll create another section on the mural where you can take the most popular ideas and maybe lead into action. So you can display maybe another section over here with voting results, and your team can continue to collaborate and maybe go into action plans, how to execute those ideas. One useful thing for doing that, by the way, is if you have a popular idea that you want to share, for example, you click on it and you hold Control D or Command D on Mac, and that creates a duplicate of, so that works for any element, sticky notes or videos or whatever you like. So you can duplicate, and you'll see Amelia right now is creating voting results section. So that's another great way to it's a democratic way to see what the team likes and what ideas are most popular. So that does it right now for the collaboration features. If you have a question about something that I showed, go ahead and throw it in the Q&A panel. We can always show it again, or I can answer it via chat. So let us know. Amelia, I'm going to throw it back over to you.
Thanks, Matt. Okay, so I'm gonna take over the screen share again so I can show you what I started to do over here. Okay, so as Matt mentioned, I wanted to record the voting results here, so in case you want to go back to them later. So I'm just adding a quick one vote. Oh, this actually got 1 vote and this got 2 votes. Another thing I would like to do, I think this might be a good opportunity to show quickly the different frameworks as well. So after gathering the voting results here, maybe you want to evaluate them in a different way as well. So I'm going to bring out the framework. So if we have a look here, on the design frameworks, we can find an assumption grid here, for example. So I'm going to drag and drop this assumption grid here. Then we can prioritize a little bit which ones of these ideas to go forward with. So here we can see that on the grids we have high risk, low risk, certain, uncertain. So happy hour, for example, seems like pretty easy to organize. We do it as a conference call. Work from a cafe day seems very certain. Might be a bit higher risk depending on the Wi-Fi. Annual meetup. You can place it somewhere in the middle here. So there are many different frameworks they can use to continue the activities in the Mural as well. So frameworks are really good if you just want to do a quick activity, you can just drag and drop them onto the Mural. So as we can see now, we started doing a brainstorming session here in the beginning. Then we went on and we did a voting session, so we have the voting results here. And then after that, we brought in a framework to do some other activities. So before we move on to show you some more use cases, I wanted to take a break again to see if we have any more questions. So Matt, what did you get in the Q&A pane?
There's a question about controlling permissions. So I think I mentioned it before when I showed the Mural members. Can you show a little bit about that?
Sure. So the one capability that Matt didn't have access to, but that I have, I will show you this now. So if you look in the upper right here, you can see a little person with the number of members that are in the Mural right now. So if I click on this, you will see the same drop down that Matt got. So you can see up here first the 2 members that are online, and then below here you can see other members of the Mural, but they are offline. And then in the bottom here, you will also see that you have the option to manage Mural members. So I'm going to click on that to show you what options you have. So on the Mural level, you can actually control if your collaborators will have the opportunity to export Mural, if they can duplicate the Mural, or if they can invite others to the Mural. So if you would like to protect the privacy of the Mural, it's a good choice to uncheck all these boxes. Another thing you can do as well, you have the option to give people view-only access. So I could give Mariano, our CEO, for example, view-only access to this Mural if I don't want him to edit anything, for example. So one situation when you might want to give people, restrict the ability for people to edit your Mural is after you've been doing a session, for example, you want to invite some stakeholders and just show them the result, but you don't want them to delete any sticky notes or move around things by accident. So then it might be a good idea to give them view-only access before you invite them into the Mural. And while talking about permissions, I think it's worth mentioning the other levels of permissions that we have. So right now, we only had a look at the permissions on the Mural level, but you also have access to control permissions on the room level and on the workspace level. So a quick look on the room level first. Right now we're looking at the Mural dashboard. So this is where you have a view of all your murals and rooms. So if we start here on the top, in the upper left side of the Mural, you will see the name of the workspace that you're currently inside. So this workspace is called Mural Workshops. And then the first option you have here is a list of all the murals that you have access to in this workspace. So if you look into for a mural and you don't know exactly in what room it is, you can check here all murals. Please note that you will only be able to see all murals inside this current workspace that you're inside right now. You won't be able to see all the murals in all other workspaces that you're part of, but you will be able to see all the murals in this workspace. Then below the view of all murals, you have templates. So templates is like a frozen version of a mural that you can't edit, but you can create murals from templates. So if I find a mural here in this list that I would like to use, and create a mural of, I can just click on the little arrow in the upper right corner of the thumbnail, and then I can create the mural from the template. So I'm just going to show this here. Okay, so I can choose create mural from template. So since a template is not editable, you need to create a mural from it in order to be able to edit, and you simply do it by clicking here. Below templates, you have a couple of example murals with some further examples, some things that you can do with murals. Here you can find some examples of mood boards, experience maps, design process, and so on. So the different types of rooms that you have private rooms, and then you have workspace rooms. So private rooms are private only to you when you first create them. So you won't have any other members in the private room unless you invite them to these rooms explicitly. So murals that you want to keep safe and private, would recommend that you put them in these personal rooms that you have here. Then you also have the workspace rooms. These are public workspace rooms. So anyone in your team, in your workspace, who have the permission to see workspace rooms will be able to see the rooms down here. So that brings us into the other levels of permissions. So in the beginning, I showed you the permissions on the mural level, but on the, let's look at a more example, interesting room. I think this one is a room that I'm the owner of. So for this room that is called webinars, I will say that I have access to room settings, and then I can click to see room members. So here I can also give different permissions on the room level. So I can decide which ones of the room members will be able to create murals in this room, who can invite people to this room, or who can duplicate the room. And I can also assign more than one room admin. So this is a way to manage and give your collaborators more permissions to your room. And if you're the admin of the team, when you click on the name of the workspace here in the upper left, you will be able to see an option here that says workspace members. So if you would like to change the permissions of your workspace members, you can click here. This is where you will get the option, for example, to give people access to see public workspace rooms. By default, people might not have the option to create rooms, so you might have to assign them the permission to create rooms as well. So if you're the admin, you will be able to find all these things in here. And in this drop-down, you can also see that I can switch to other workspaces. So in this list, I can also see all the other workspaces that I'm part of. So if I would like to go to any other workspace, I can just open up this list and then click on the name of the workspace that I would like to go to. So that was a little bit more about workspaces and permissions. So I wanted to get back to the mural and see if there are any other capabilities that we should go through. So do we have any other questions, Matt?
Right now, we don't have any others.
Okay, maybe we should take a moment to look at some use cases then. Or what do you think?
Yeah, sounds great. Do you want to show the video?
Yes, sure. So I'm just going to make sure that I have the option on to share the sound of the video. So I'm just going to stop quickly. Then I'm going to launch again. Cool. Okay, now we're good to go. So now Jim will come in and present a couple of use cases. So Jim Callback is our very talented customer success manager, and he's also an experienced designer. So he has a lot of useful insights that you can be inspired by to build your own murals.
I wanted to start off by showing you what Mural is and how you add content, but now I want to look at some examples to maybe inspire you or give you some ideas how you might be able to use it in your own work. Let me zoom out on this mural, and you can see here we did a brainstorming session on that same topic. So this might be kind of the conclusion. If the group of us here today were to keep going, we might end up with a mural that looks something like this. You see the team up here in the upper left-hand corner. On the left, we did a brainstorming session, and this is labeled as such here in this large header. But if I zoom in, I can see some of those brainstorming ideas here. So this is kind of unstructured. Everybody's just getting their ideas out. And then we use those areas that I just showed you. I showed you that area feature here to cluster the ideas. So there were some themes that started to emerging, and if you know about affinity clustering, you can use these areas and affinity clustering to find patterns. So games and playing, fun things was a pattern that emerged over here. And then we did a vote, and here are the voting results. We copied those sticky notes that got the most votes, and we can have another discussion about them down here. And if I move further down, we even put things on a small timeline. Over here on the left, I included some links. So this is kind of my reference section or further links section as well too. There's even a PDF document in here as well too. So if I zoom out, I can see there are 4 areas, distinct areas to this mural. Over here, the brainstorming that we did, then we moved to affinity clustering, then we voted and prioritized. That's really, I think, the best way to think about Mural. It's not about doing one activity, but actually using the large virtual space that we give you to actually chain activities together, tie separate steps together. If you're doing design thinking, for instance, you can do personas and empathy maps and journey maps and have that all in one place. And of course, everything once everything is digital, it's shareable, it's archivable, it's traceable. You can go back and see who said what. When, and you have a record of your session, and it's a visual record. But because it's digital, you can loop in other teammates who may not be on location or at the same site with you, and you're working with a distributed team. So a brainstorming session, I think, is something we see a lot of customers doing, a lot of people doing brainstorming sessions in Mural. But you might also do things like design thinking activities. In this case, this is an experience mapping activity. Again, you'll see here we used the entire mural to do 4 different activities. We looked at a stakeholder map here in the upper left, then we did some personas, then we did some empathy maps. But here in the center, we have a journey maps. In this case, we were looking at going to the supermarket by bicycle. And what would Jake's experience be here? So Jake is our persona, and we can look at the steps and the feelings and the pain points at each stage in his experience of going to the supermarket by bicycle. Notice here we also included the images, so we have this kind of rich, high-fidelity description of his journey from our research as well too. And then we can even move into brainstorming right down below, based on the opportunities and pain points, what ideas can we come up with? So again, zoomed out, I can't see all of that detail, but I can see that there are 4 areas here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can then zoom in to see the detail. If I wanted to see this empathy map, I can zoom in. So again, you'll be moving around, panning and zooming quite a bit in Mural at different levels of fidelity. At this level, I get the overview. If I zoom in a little bit more, I see the section. If I zoom in more, then I can see and work with the content. So we can tend to think about things in kind of 3 or 4 different levels of scale that you can work at. Let me show you another example. This is related but slightly different than experience mapping. This is something called user story mapping. And in this case, we started with personas down here at the bottom. So we kind of started at the bottom and worked our way up the mural. We were looking at an agile team, was looking at an app for a teacher and instructor to manage homework broadly. And we had these 2 persona. This is the teacher, the instructor, and Emma is the student. But then what we did here at the top of the mural is we looked at the journey or the interaction that the instructor would have with the application. They have to log in, then search and browse, then view the list, and all the set steps and sub-activities that he has to do. But what we were ultimately trying to do was sort our user stories. So if you know agile development for software, that breaks things down into individual stories, which is a great way to manage a project because you can see progress and you can manage the development effort a lot better. But you also lose the big picture. So what user story mapping does is it tries to give you the big picture and look at stories, the functionality that you're developing, in terms of the user journey, which is here at the top. And from this, you can then derive epics and have conversations around releases and things like that as well, too. So user story mapping, great to do with a remote team. We have a little case study on our blog where we did that with one of our customers, a team that was distributed between Europe and the US, and we were able to effectively collaborate visually in a user story mapping exercise. One more quick example, we've also worked with things like Lean, and in this case Lean UX. We partnered with Jeff Godhealth to do some Lean UX activities. We were looking at coming up with hypotheses in this particular example, and we did this exercise with a completely remote team. So the team was literally scattered around the world, and we were still able to move from, you know, what are the business outcomes, the metrics that we want to change, to the persona, to the user outcomes, and then to the features. So we actually worked back from the outcomes to the features. And then we wanted to come up with experiments. The first part of coming up with experiments in Lean is to come up with a hypothesis statement to be able to then validate your assumptions. So we created these hypothesis statements. And again, we did this collectively as a team on a conference call, but used Mural as the platform, as the background, as the whiteboard to do all of the visual collaboration. So there are lots of different ideas and use cases that you can imagine to use Mural for. We typically see people doing things like design thinking, innovation, creative work, design work as well too. You can think about putting mock-ups here in Mural. We've very often seen people put you know, screenshots of an existing application or of a new application, line them up in Mural so that you can see them all back to back. Effectively, anything that you might do on a flip chart or a whiteboard in the office, you can think about doing in Mural and more, because you can add video and links and images as well. You can think about extending the whiteboard not only into your browser but into the digital space.
Great, thank you so much for that presentation, Jim. So that we're running out of time, Matt, are there any questions we should take before we end the webinar?
Yeah, there's actually one that I'd like to address that was about the app version of Mural. So Stephen was asking if there's a difference between the app and the web version. I just want to say, so there's a few different apps we have available. One is the iOS app, so that's for iPhone or iPad, and then the Windows app, so that's for the Surface Hub that Amelia showed earlier, or a Windows tablet or touch device. So probably the biggest advantage and difference on the app versions is the drawing. So you can draw directly on the Mural with your finger, which is really cool. You can also draw, I don't think we showed that, Amelia, on the web version, so maybe we could show that also. And so yeah, you can show, go ahead, you can show that.
Yeah, so after creating a new sticky note, in the menu, the formatting menu that appears above the sticky note, when you click on it once, you will see that you have the option to sketch. So I'm just going to create another one. So a new sticky note, and then I choose switch to sketch. Now I can draw anything I want here. So yeah, so as Matt said, when you're working on the web, the only place you can draw is inside the sticky notes. But if you're using the application for Windows 10 or for iOS, you will be able to draw on the Mural as well. And yeah, so if you go to the Windows App Store or the Apple App Store, you will be able to find this application. So if you have access to any of these devices, I encourage you to go ahead and try those out. I just wanted to talk a little bit quickly about finishing up before we end. So today we did the brainstorming and then we did the voting results. We talked a little bit about how saving your results, but I wanted to show you one quick thing. So if I mark this sticky note, for example, I can also mark several sticky notes at the same time. And I would like to bring these ideas to an email or a document. I can, in this menu that appears above, I'll say that the last option is copy as text. So if I copy this, I can go to an email or I can go to another spreadsheet or a document. And then I can quickly bring the ideas out of Mural as well. So I really want to highlight this because it's important to understand that Mural is integrated with a lot of other tools. You can bring in links, you can bring in videos and other documents, but you can also bring the content out from Mural after the session is over. So I could paste this in an email, for example, to quickly save or in Slack, for example, to share the result of today's brainstorming with the rest of my team. So if you would like to get some more information or if you have further questions, you can always click on the question mark in the lower left side of the mural. So in the bottom here, you will see that you have a link to the Help Center. So in the Help Center, you can find different articles that explains how you can use all the capabilities from Mural. So I encourage you to go in and explore the Help Center. You can find video tutorials and webinars. You can also find templates to get started from and a lot of more interesting things. So go in and poke around there and see what you can find. If you would like to contact customer support, you can click on the pink question speech bubble here, sorry. So click on contact customer support here to start messaging us. And then in this menu, you can also find some quick links to some support articles that might be helpful to get started, like adding sticky notes faster, selecting multiple elements, drawing arrows, and so on. So with that, we're going to end today's webinar. The Help Center, you can find it at support.mural.ly. If you would like to contact support, you can do that through the question mark in the bottom here, but you can also email us at support@mural.co. And for more interesting use cases and stories about Mural, you can go to blog.mural.co, where Jim Carlbeck is also blogging regularly. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you for your questions. It's always interesting to hear your point of view on the application and learn more about how you use it. So after the webinar is over, we're going to launch a quick survey. So I really hope that you will take a moment to give us your feedback on how we can improve this webinar and other things that you think would be important to learn to get started. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day. And I hope to see you around in Mural soon. And thank you so much for helping out, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Amelia.
Okay, so with this, we're going to end the webinar. Thank you, everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye.